Welcome to Empowered Within, a soul-quenching, transformational podcast that will set your soul on fire through candid and inspiring conversations. Leading experts, celebrities, healers, and I share our journeys of how we've overcome challenges to living an empowered life from within. I'm your host, Jennifer Pilates. Welcome to another episode of Empowered Within. Well, hello, everyone. I am so excited for today's show. This is our very last episode of 2021. We are recording live on Clubhouse with an incredible curated guest lineup you do not want to miss. We're talking about our biggest empowering moments from 2021 and our hopes for 2022. So let's kick things off with allowing our guests a brief moment to introduce themselves. Let's start with you, Mary. Introduce yourself and let us know where you're at in the world today.
Well, hi, everybody. So good to be here. We are on the solstice day here and closing out the year. What a year it's been. I'm Mary Amons. I am first and foremost a mother of 5 beautiful, beautiful children that are all now adults and doing very well in the world, that I'm very blessed to say. And I am an interior designer by trade, and residing right now in Washington, D.C. for the last 2 years. Was based in Dallas, Texas for a couple of years, but now I'm back and been on quite a transformational journey over the last 2 years since COVID hit. And just going back to sort of reset myself and redefine where I'm headed and just open myself to God and the universe and lean in. So thanks for having me, Jennifer.
Oh, thanks for being here, Mary. And Linda, you're up next.
Hello. I am so glad to be here today. And Mary, I got a kick out of you saying that your children are grown now. One of the greatest joys of our life, my husband and mine, is that our children are all financially independent. And that's a joke in our family, but it is wonderful when they grow up and they have jobs and happy lives and everything. And so what's happened for me in this past year and a half has truly been transformational. It's been an amazing time. I'm a writer. I write fiction, historical, romantic, suspense, most of all. But I've always connected my work to history and my ancestry. And this time of lockdown and COVID and being isolated from other people has given me an opportunity to turn inward and to become even closer to that connection with my ancestors. And I think my writing has really shown that connection. It makes me very happy. And Jennifer, you, as you know, have helped me out with that. So it's been a delight. And I'm done.
Oh, thank you, Linda. It's been a delight working with you. And Mr. Frank, please introduce yourself.
Whoa, what an honor. And I'm so grateful to be here. And I'm Frank from Holland. I'm the author of the upcoming book, Trapped in a Dream, Never Lose Your Drive. And yeah, the last year for me, when I started doing podcasts, and Jennifer was one of my podcasts, and I think not to be give it Jennifer too much, but it was the best one. And after all those things, and also after this podcast, really things changed for me, because I knew why I was writing my book and why I wrote the book. But also the last year on Clubhouse and on the podcast made me realize and look at the puzzle pieces of my book and of myself. They all came together. The explanation of why I wrote the book was there because of Clubhouse and the amazing stories I heard on Clubhouse. And my speaking and my view of my book changed in 1 year completely. So I'm now so happy that my book costed a little bit more time to get out. But he's now at the printers. And so many things happening. I just saw a post from somebody who called my book the next Bible for the next century. And, you know, she has read my book, and she called my book the next Bible for the next century. And I'm grateful and blessed. And yeah, it's amazing what's happening in my life. And I'm in the best chapters of my life. And what I'm doing with my book, I want to say to everybody, hey, listen, it is time for you to also write your best chapters. Come out of your prison. Your door is open, and be the gift you were always meant to be. And I love my life at the moment. I'm in the best chapters, and I already said that. And I'm going to enjoy it tonight too. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Frank. And it's been an honor having you as a part of our family here. Lisa Betta, please introduce yourself.
Well, thank you, Jennifer, for having me. And hello to everyone on the panel. I'm really excited to be here with such an incredible group of people. And Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year to everyone. I'm Lisa Betta Collage, also known as Astro Devi at AstroDevi333 on Instagram and Facebook. I am a personal, political, and celebrity Vedic astrologer, psychic medium, and tarot reader. I'm a married mother of 4, including my dog Prince, because he is my little baby too, the youngest one. My God, it's been an actual, and I'm sure everyone agrees, it's been an absolutely incredible year, 2021, for so many reasons, for growth, for connecting more with family, for connecting more with myself, for understanding my journey on a deeper level, for, my God, so many reasons, and just trying to really discern what's ahead and what's coming up in life. And I know my thing is making predictions, but I really learned, especially this year, it's more important than ever to be so present in the moment of everything, and to really take everything in: your family, your friends, your pets, your home, your land. Everyone is moving and making so many changes, and contemplating what changes to make for the future, because 2022 is going to be an even bigger year than 2021, if anyone could actually imagine that at this point in our life. But just really growing and focusing on what is it that I want to do in terms of helping people more directly, one-on-one. And of course, I have a lot of talent and skills and abilities, but just narrowing it in, because I think the most important thing is working on this very, very moment, making a difference today instead of waiting for tomorrow and waiting for something to happen tomorrow. So that's one of the things that I'm working on, how to make today a big blessing and not wait for tomorrow.
Oh, thank you, girly, for being here today. And we have with us the Manny Cabo. Welcome, sir. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, Jennifer. Wow, it seems like forever since I've been on Clubhouse. And actuality, it has. But I figured, we're in the studio recording right now because, we just got back from tour, and it's a nonstop industry. And I had to stop and uphold my promise of being on here because obviously, I have nothing but love for you and how much you've shared and imparted on this particular platform. So totally appreciative of you. And it has certainly been a year. Well, I don't know where to begin. I've had a plethora, a culmination. You pick an adjective of ups and downs this year, predominantly in the realm of loss, from losing my dad to COVID, losing everything aside from my life with Hurricane Ida. But more importantly, focusing on the resiliency and how to overcome that loss has been something that I've entertained on. I don't know what type of level you want to call it, but I have been completely and utterly focused and still in the process of rebuilding, but nonetheless, it's that comeback year. And I'm grateful for the entire experience or experiences in this case, because it kind of shows you the clarity in the contrast. We have to have that contrast in life to show the clarity and the things that we truly want to focus on, our passions and the things that are important above all. So thanks again. This is the voice of Manny Cabo, and I appreciate you having me on this panel, Jennifer.
Thank you, Manny. It means so much to have you here, and it means so much to have each and every one of you here. You've all become friends, family to me, and have been a huge part of our Empowered Within podcast. So as we kick things off, I'd like to ask each and every one of you, and we'll kind of popcorn around, what one moment do you feel most empowered when thinking back in review over 2021? Let's kick it off with Miss Linda.
Jennifer, you're going to think I'm just sucking up, but I swear that this is the truth. The year, as I think happened with everyone, every day blended into another day. I was working hard. I was writing every day, publishing my books, but so many of us forgot what day it was because every day was like every other day. You lost track of what date it was. But that day that you and I talked about writing my ancestors into my books truly was momentous for me. And I had already decided that I wanted to do that. But when you gave me sort of a permission to go ahead and do the crazy thing that I wanted to do, which was say that I feel like stories are given to me, whether it's through DNA, whether it's through some kind of memory, whether it's through being insane, I don't know. But that discussion truly propelled me to another point in telling my stories. And they are stories that I think we all have. That's the important part. Not just me having those stories. I think we all have them. That somewhere deep within our bones, in our DNA, in our blood, we know what happened before us with the people who made us. And so that coming out, that realization meant a great deal to me, and I've had so much fun with it since then. So I'm working it right now into a story that's been fantastic, and I'm complete.
Oh, thank you, Linda. You brought tears to my eyes. It was a very special moment of a reading that we had that day, and I'm honored to be able part of your writing and of your life. Thank you so much. Mary, you are up next. What one moment do you feel empowered when thinking back in review of 2021?
There are many, but one in particular has to do with just being back home. I was in Dallas, Texas for a couple of years and went through a real period of growth and expansion and just had a real yearning to just come back home and reset myself and figure out where I was in my journey and what I'm doing, because I think I was pretty scattered and had a lot of hopes and dreams. But I will say that being back here in the place I grew up, and actually the home I grew up in, it was our second home, but I live here now out in Southern Maryland, has been one of the most enlightening periods of my life, because I've been able to just be quiet and support my parents. They're aging and need some support. And I've been able to be in a position to offer that. And it's just been being home that has been the moment where I really opened my eyes. And my dad had a health scare again. He's 82. So that was another moment where I just realized my mortality and my time here and the gift it is with my parents. So that's what I was thinking about when that question came to me. I'm done.
That's beautiful, Mary. Thank you for sharing that. And what a blessing it is. I think we've all really found this new blessing in home, and whatever that means to us this year. Heading over to Frank, what one moment do you feel most empowered when thinking back in review of 2021?
Whoa, this is for me. There are so many. There are so many moments, but I think for me is the moment that I had my first live talk in 2021, and it was the acknowledgement of people who heard me on Clubhouse, and they were all there, or all 40 were there, and they all said, after my speech, they said they were quiet for a while, and then they all went loose, and they said, listen, you exactly as on Clubhouse. And that was the moment I felt that finally, that really my mask was off. What I'm teaching all the other people is, live without your mask, be yourself, and be the gift you were always meant to be. But then I felt myself that I'm now free to be vulnerable, to be myself, and to be open, and to share. And because, so many people now say, this is a different Frank. no, it's not. I'm now myself. And that's such a compliment when people say, you're exactly what we thought about you. And you are the same. And on Clubhouse, of course, Clubhouse was my thing because, there were no live gigs. There was nothing. But then there was that live gig and that live speech. And I was so blessed that everybody said, you are exactly what I thought you would be. And that's also what I feel. I can make mistakes. I can ramble. And it's funny, when you ramble and you think you are offline, all people say on the back channel, happy you did that because we thought you were perfect. Well, think again. I'm just like everybody else, but I'm now myself without the mask. And I'm still going for that Oscar because I acted for so long that I thought I was getting an Oscar for my whole repertoire. But now I want my Oscar for being myself. And that was my biggest moment.
What an incredible message. Thank you for sharing that, Frank. Miss Lisa Betta, you are up. What one moment do you feel most empowered when thinking back over this last year?
Well, 2021. So, okay, I knew 2021 was going to be exciting, confusing, challenging, full of so many surprises. And yes, it's one thing to know that's what's coming. It's another thing to experience it. I think the thing that I take with me the most about 2021 is some things that definitely take me by surprise. And, I had to learn how to become stronger, more confident, more forthcoming, more direct. I was always one of those people pleaser kind of children growing up, always trying to make sure everyone was happy and comfortable. And even if it meant me being uncomfortable, but really stepping out of my shell. So 2021 was definitely about me stepping out of my shell. It was about me really facing people in a way that I haven't faced them before, being more honest with myself and other people and not making excuses, always trying to see past certain things. But I learned that it's better to be much more honest and frank with yourself than to kind of beat around the bush, and less pain, in my opinion, less pain being direct with yourself and with other people and not being afraid to be direct, not being afraid to be yourself. I've also made some very, very incredible friendships, including you, making some really incredible connections with people, but most importantly, grounding myself through 2021, which hasn't really been easy for anyone. It's definitely been a journey, but really being able to stand on my feet in a way that I haven't before. So I definitely appreciate that lesson, that learning in 2021 and just not be so afraid or so worried about tomorrow, always trying to make a chess move, right? That's what we're all trying to do, but having faith and continually holding on to that faith and just looking at the journey as an experience. And I've had some incredible experiences this year, some positive, some not so positive, but either way, very incredible, learned a lot. And these lessons will definitely be able to help me to help others because we're all looking for advice from someone or a shoulder to lean on. So I could say definitely a great growth period and learning not to hold back as much anymore, not being afraid or being concerned so much about hurting someone's feelings. I think transparency is one of the most important things that we all need in this lifetime, all generations. So I love that about this year, and I'm ready to kick butt in 2022.
Amen to that. Amen to that. And what a beautiful message. I know so many of us can definitely resonate with what you're sharing of your last year. Mr. Manny Cabo, I know that we've all had a challenging 2021, and you, my friend, have been in my heart and soul for this entire year. I've been right by your side. Will you share what one moment you felt most empowered with in this last year?
Oh, man. Well, you know what? Just answering this, it's one of those topics where you really have to sit back, take a deep breath, and, and delve into that contemplative state because, as I alluded to earlier, this year has been a culmination of different expressions and feelings and emotions. But I do have to say with full earnestness is that this is the 1 year where I learned to embrace vulnerability. Okay, and it started with the loss of my dad to COVID and how he perished in a week. And then it was exacerbated with Hurricane Ida, just taking everything, 21 years of my livelihood, 3 totaled cars, 3 leveled rooms. And you're left with this feeling of emptiness, right? But that vulnerability that we feel, feeling comfortable in those uncomfortable situations is something, unfortunately, that we should all experience at some point, because it will allow you and it will assist you in becoming even more powerful in dealing with the dilemmas of life. Okay, because sometimes we're afraid to feel comfortable in those uncomfortable moments. I mean, I'm on stage in front of thousands of people every night. Not everybody can do that. And it's not easy because we're always in this character and we're afraid of these criticisms. We're afraid of losing followers, of losing sight, of losing focus of our dreams. Whatever it is, I learned to embrace having nothing, living in a more minimalistic type of approach to life, because when you're sitting around and you've lost everything and you lost a person that was completely dear to you, that was the impetus behind you becoming anything creative. I mean, that's a tough pill to swallow. So yeah, sure, I've shared my tears, significant amount. I've had those moments where you start questioning life itself. But I welcome those moments and for those moments because it allowed me to focus on what's important. And I can't tell you, Jennifer, how vital it is for me. Every day I wake up and I cherish just breathing because I knew my dad at the last moments, he really couldn't breathe. And just those simple things, those simple acknowledgments, of having that more minimalistic approach in life, it makes you that much more humble. And you know me, Jennifer. It takes a lot for me to break down. I'm always known as the motivator. Manny's so positive. Manny's the go-getter. I uplift everyone around me. Sure, but Manny gets tired. And this year has been one of those years where I've embraced fatigue to the highest extremes. But again, I'm grateful for that because it just makes you stronger, as the old adage says. And we all know that it's true. Unfortunately, at the expense of losing so many things that were important to me. But now I look back, hindsight, everything is 2020. They're not the important things. It's not the materialistic things, right? It's the legacies. It's the memories, right, that have got you to this point. And now I live vicariously through the legacies of my dad. I've improved my life. I'm bouncing back. As you know, I've just got off tour. I'll be at the Grammys next year working on a book. We could focus on the void. Right? We can bellyache and bitch and complain about what we don't have, or we can sit here and be grateful for the things that we do have. And believe me, that is the better option. That is the most viable option that we have at this junction right now. Because if you focus on the things that you're truly and utterly grateful for, then that's just a welcome sign for more amazing things to flourish in your life. This is Manny, and I'm done speaking.
Thank you, Manny. I think we all needed to hear exactly what you just said. Thank you so much for that. So on to our next topic. What is your hope for 2022? Mary, let's start with you.
Oh my goodness. First of all, thank you all in this roundtable for all you've contributed. I mean, wow, how inspirational and how empowering to listen to all of us share what we've gone through in this year. I mean, I feel like this has been life itself stopped in a way last year. And then it started to pick up. So I'm just so grateful to hear these stories of encouragement and inspiration and transformation that are just, it's remarkable. And my prayer is that this podcast and this conversation will touch some people in a way that is going to really help them get to where they need to be, because I think that is the beauty of the power of this medium right here. But so what I'm looking forward to, in answer to your question, Jennifer, I just needed to give that little shout out to all of our panels here, because I think that what everyone has said has been truly touching, and it stopped me in my tracks. Manny, you are amazing. And thank you for powering through what you've had to power through and transforming yourself and also inspiring us all. So anyway, back to what I need to say. For the next year, I'm in such a state of reset that it's the best place to be in. Like, I've lost a whole lot. I've faced a whole lot. I've healed myself in ways that I never imagined I would. And I don't want to just glorify it all, but I also want to stay very positive in the statement and say, I just have a real gut about this next year being even a more enormous transformation in what I have in the works and what I have in my heart, and fulfilling my dreams, and also managing my family and all I have to manage. And so I would just say that this year has been completely transformational, much more than last year. And I'm grateful for everything, just like you said, Manny, everything that's happened to me, that's happened for me, is all on purpose. And it's been my responsibility and my vulnerability to lean into it and listen to what God has for me in those moments of challenge, and to just seek greater things to leave the legacy that I know I'm meant to leave. So I'm feeling extremely excited and hopeful. And that is where I'm complete.
I am so excited and hopeful for you. And I know that we can't wait to have you back on the podcast in 22 and revisit everything with you. Thank you, Mary. Linda, what is your hope for 2022?
Jennifer, this is, I believe, more than a hope. I truly believe it's going to be the dawning of a new time for us. And I understand that the world is still in some trouble in terms of the pandemic, and I understand that we still need to be careful. But the reality is, and especially because this is winter solstice day, and I know that's not our purpose here today, but how ironic that we're here looking at the start of a new season and a new time for all of us. And Manny, when you were talking, you reminded me of a saying I used to have on my wall that said, all we have is the past, present, and perhaps, and the love that passes through us along the way. And I think that love, we've all experienced loss. Manny, I'm so sorry. I feel for you that you experienced so much loss all at once, all in 1 year. But we do experience loss. That's part of life. That is part of living. And that love that has passed through us is really what matters. And I know I'm not really answering your question, Jennifer. I was just so taken with everything that's been said so far. But what I hope for the next year might sound kind of shallow, but I'm going to be putting out 5 books, and I truly hope that these books become, if not bestsellers, I hope they sell well. I've done a lot of work in the past, and I've had some good results, but it isn't really totally selfish, my reason for wanting this, because I do believe that these stories help other people think about their own stories, and they are the stories that help us get through not only the good times, but the bad times in our lives. And that's my purpose for writing them. And I see that coming in this year. Gosh, 2022, here we are. And we made it this far. And this is going to be a good year for all of us. I just know it. I feel it. And I am complete.
Thank you, Linda. And I, for one, can say that your books have always touched the lives of so many, and personally for me have very much touched my life. And I cannot wait to read your new books that will be a huge success, I'm sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Frank, what is your hope for 2022?
Well, the last few weeks, so many people ask me things about my book. So what I do is I open now my book. I've got one book here, and the rest is still at the printers. But I open my book blindly, and I start reading what I opened. And it is so funny, I opened this one. It's chapter 16, you see. It's the chapter New Beginnings, and I give you the first lines. I want to ask you, have you ever sat down and thought, damn, I've been through a lot of shit. If so, think about this. The past is where you learned. The future is where you apply the lessons. So don't give up in the middle, because that's where you are now, right now. Life may not be wrapped with a bow, but it's still a gift. The only thing that really counts is to have loved. So don't worry if people don't like you. Most people are struggling to like themselves. Love is the closest things we have to magic. And you may be hurt if you love too much, but you will live in misery if you love too little. Did I know what love is? No, not really. But I was open to learn. So many people had given me their love, and now I just start to learn to love. And most of all, to love myself. Because when you love yourself, you can give what you have to others. I would get help from an unexpected side, which would change my life permanently. Remember that your present situation is not your final destination. The best is yet to come. And that was the moment I met Nick Vujicic, the man with no arms and legs. And he showed me in 25 minutes my purpose in life. And that's why I wrote the book. And this is already written 3 years ago. And what happened from that moment on? I handed in my manuscript. I found really out myself. And I also found that I'm good enough to love myself, to give love, and to receive love. And that's my biggest hope, that I will never, ever forget that I'm good enough the way I am. So that's my hope, that I will never forget the lessons and that the best is still to come.
Thank you, Frank. I have total chills from head to toe. That is a very powerful message, and I know that that's going to move and resonate with so many of our listeners around the world. Thank you, Frank. Miss Lisa Betta, what is your hope for 2022?
That's a great question, Jennifer. Everyone, it's going to be a pleasure to get out of 2021. I'll say that much. My biggest hope. Well, I have many hopes or wishes, dreams, visions for 2022. And although I know there's going to be so many more shakeups, literally and metaphorically speaking, I do hope that people finally gain the transparency and clarity that they were trying so hard to find in 2021. 2021 definitely created a lot of chaos and confusion and uncertainty and a lot of up and down motions. And I'm hoping that 2022 is going to help to kind of like settle that energy down. But I could say that one of my biggest hopes is that I hope people realize how truly, truly special it is to be a human being. Humans are so gifted. They really, really are. And so many of us don't even realize it or begin to see it until like halfway through their life, until like they reach their 40s. I mean, how many of us really start to understand and see life for what it is and understand that they are gifted in some way by the time that they reach their 40s? And that's when they really have kind of like their aha moments. And I want humans to truly realize how amazing and creative that they are, especially in a time where everyone has been quote unquote programmed with like a certain agenda happening around the world, and humans are rising and they're growing and they're evolving in a way that they haven't before. And I'm not talking about transhumanism. I'm not talking about technologically robotic human beings. I'm talking about authentic human beings, the whole human race. I see and hope that the whole entire human race could really empower themselves in 2022, really know who they truly are and really protect that about themselves, really protect their DNA, protect their genome, protect themselves. And know that at this moment, over the course of time, especially since 2020, we've been upgrading and learning and coming to terms with who we are as a human race, understanding our existence, understanding our history, which much of it has still been hidden from us intentionally. But I'm hoping that humans will finally realize what their natural born abilities are that for many of us has still been so dormant. And I'm hoping that our consciousness evolves in another way that we haven't yet seen. And Mary said something really important earlier. You know, she talked about and mentioned reset and transformation with Pluto right now in Capricorn, because I use sidereal Vedic astrology, conjuncting Saturn, and now Venus is retrograde. I mean, it's a major transformation of life right now, transformation of love and relationships, our value system, our financial system, and the whole world as we know it. And even our relationship with souls on the other side, as Manny has mentioned, his father passing, and trying to have a relationship with those that have left us from a spiritual perspective, everything changing. I just hope that humans really are not afraid to move forward in a way that will bring them peace, move forward in a way that's going to bring them joy, move forward in a way that's going to really open up their minds and dream big. We've been so limited still. Even as advanced as we may seem, we've still been so limited. And I'm hoping that 2022 really unleashes our inner power, our inner soul, our inner being in a way that it hasn't before, allowing us to truly extend ourselves and be bigger than we think that we are, and just be who we are, who we were meant to be, what our purpose is, and to evolve in a way that is free, evolve in a way where we could have our freedom and we could have our, like Manny said earlier, we're just taking a breath, like just taking that in, like understanding the prana in every breath that we take, because everything on this planet could truly be amazing. We just have to know and feel that it can be amazing. And so really expanding and becoming more unlimited as human beings, that's my hope for 2022. I hope that no one's afraid anymore by the time 2022 comes along, so they could really just move forward and break those barriers, because so many of us have been living with barriers, and we're just finally becoming brave enough to just break them and move forward. I'm done.
Beautifully said. Thank you. And incredible reminders. And may we all move forward without fear and instead empower ourselves each and every day. Mr. Manny, what is your hope for 2022?
I think that it's basically a culmination of what everyone just said. You know, as far as me on a personal level, my biggest hope is to be alive, of course, life above all, because with life comes possibility, and the consistency of being able to do what I love, which is my art and uplifting others around me, cutting to the chase, of course, and that for the world, I want everyone to know that it's okay to just be yourself. I mean, I know it sounds simple, but it's something that we all fail to do. Nobody cares about criticisms, and the only thing that gives power to criticisms and fear and the lies and the deceptions and the jealousy and the insecurities is the power that you give it, periodly. We can't blame anybody else for that stuff, just yourself. So if we learn how to be accountable for our emotions and when and where we decide to place those emotions, right, that's when we'll realize, wow, I have complete and utter control over my life. And energy that you release into the world is what you're going to get back. I've learned that through so many different circumstances in my life. And that's why I loathe to be that which I do not want to be. I treat people with utmost respect. And that is the only obligation that we have in this world if we think about it. Just treat people the way you want to be treated. I'm not the best singer, not the best photographer, not the best podcaster by no stretch, but I will give you the best goddamn effort that I have to uplift you and to make this world a better place. That's all I can hope for. The realization that we are stronger than we all think we are, and to kill the noise that derails us from being as such. This is Manny. I'm done. It's been an honor sharing the stage with you. Jennifer, I love Love you to death. And I have to get back to recording here. I've got engineers looking at me like with 10 heads. But I promised I'd be on here to share my journeys with you.
I love you, Manny. Thank you for being here. Please go record so that we can listen to your amazing voice day after day and continue
Thanks,
the
everyone.
inspiration.
Elisabetta and Mary and Frank, Linda and Jagadesh in the audience. I appreciate all your times. It was an honor sharing the space with you all.
Likewise,
Happy
God bless
holidays,
Manny.
man.
God bless you,
Take care.
Manny.
You
God
as well.
bless you. Bye-bye.
Take care, guys.
Thank you. Well, I have a very special announcement to make. Sorry, it brings tears to my eyes. Because of each and every one of you that have joined me today on this panel, and to everyone listening, our podcast that debuted back in May hit the top 10% of podcasts out of 2.7 million globally in under the first 90 days, which was freaking amazing. And I wish Manny had stayed for a hot second longer, because the only way that I found out was because of Manny. Because he called me and said, "Girl, do you know?" And I said, "No, what are you talking about?" And so I thank you all so much. We are heard in over 39 countries around the world. My goal, my mission with this podcast was to bring inspiration and motivation through all of you, through our incredible panel here today and all the guests that have been on this podcast, and to bring the light around the world to each and every country that had the ability and has the ability to listen to a podcast. And we've done that, and we've done it in a much shorter time than I would have ever hoped or dreamed of. So for that, I really want to thank you. And especially to our guests, I want to thank you for sharing your wisdom and your inspirations today. I truly so value each and every one of you. You truly have become part of my family. I really appreciate you so much, and sharing and being so vulnerable and so authentic each and every time you've been on this podcast. I thank you for that. And I wanted to let our listeners know that all of our guests' contact information and links will be available in the show notes at jenniferpilates.com. And if you've enjoyed today's style of show and perhaps you'd like to have more like this, please leave your thoughts in the reviews, or you can hop over to Instagram and send me a DM at the Jennifer Pilates, or you can send me a DM at jenniferpilates.com. If I may leave you all with an empowering thought to carry with you into the new year, it is this. Remember that what is meant for you cannot pass you by, and know that you are exactly where you need to be and where you're meant to be at this moment in time. And as we say, until next time. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe to Empowered Within with Jennifer Pilates. Your feedback is important. It helps me to connect with you and gives me insight into who you are and what you're enjoying on the show. For today's show notes and discount codes from today's sponsors, head over to jenniferpilates.com. Until next time, may you live an empowered life from within.
But it's fine.
Oh, it's so exciting. I'm so happy. That's so exciting. I understand. I was trying so hard to be patient. And
no, it's totally fine. No, we're still recording. It's totally fine. This will be the one episode that is never edited. It will go out as it is, because I just love you all so much. And we just,
I love it.
Yay! We want to end on such an authentic note.
That's
Seriously.
So
I was so excited. That is so freaking cool.
It's great, and you deserve it. That's for sure.
100% she does.
Yes.
Thank you.
She's worked so hard. Oh my goodness. You worked so hard.
And each and
you
one
deserve this.
Thank you. And each and every one of you, you have been a part of this, and you've seen and heard some of the ups, the downs, the in-betweens, and I thank you all for being here for it. It really has. Sorry, I'm still so emotional. Touches my heart so much.
I love you so much.
Oh, I love you guys so much.
So much. We love you. Love you. Happy holidays.
Love you so much,
everybody.
Jennifer.
Happy New Year.
Oh, love you, Mary.
And thank you so. And you know what? Thank you so much for bringing me together with everyone, because I haven't heard of anyone that's here. So I'm like, ooh, new good people to meet.
Yes.
Yes, I followed everybody.
I got you, Elisabetta.
Yes. Yes.
Your words were so incredibly inspirational and powerful, and you're just so articulate. Wow. So I'm tuning into you.
Yeah, she is amazing, as you all are. Well,
you, Linda, and Frank.
Yeah, I want to say thank you. Your time is so precious to me, and I really appreciate each and every one of you showing up. I know that everyone's got so much stuff to do, and, this was one of those, it was just, I was guided. I was guided last week to reach out to each and every one of you, and I'm so honored you could be here, and I just love you all. Thank you. I wish you happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and an incredible blessings in this new year. And as we say, until next time. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe to Empowered Within with Jennifer Pilates. Your feedback is important. It helps me to connect with you and gives me insight into who you are and what you're enjoying about the show. For today's show notes and discount codes from today's sponsors, head over to jenniferpilates.com. Until next time, may you live an empowered life from within.